What if I told you most financial advice is designed to keep you, well, average? It's not a conspiracy, but it's true. The rules for building stable, middle-class security are completely different from the rules for building generational wealth. The ultra-rich don't just follow a different path. They operate from a completely different playbook. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden principles they use every day. Have you ever really wondered what separates the ultra-rich from everyone else? It's not just the size of their bank account. Long before the first million is made, the foundation of wealth is built in the mind. The world's wealthiest people credit their mindset far more than just luck or raw intelligence. They've mastered a set of principles that completely reframe their relationship with money, risk, and opportunity. Most of us are handed a single financial script. Go to school, get a good job, save 10%, and hope for the best. That script is designed for financial survival, not financial dominance. The wealthy, on the other hand, understand that creating and preserving wealth requires a totally different discipline. It's a unified framework of strategic thinking and daily habits that separates them from the crowd. So, are you ready to learn what they think in silence? Let's get into the 4 hidden principles of the ultra-wealthy. The first and most fundamental divide is the mindset around money itself. Most people operate from a place of scarcity. This is a mindset rooted in fear, the fear of not having enough, the fear of loss, and the worry that someone else's gain is your loss. This scarcity thinking leads to a primary focus on saving and hoarding. Money becomes this precious thing to be protected at all costs, which leads to obsessive frugality and a paralyzing fear of taking risks. Ultimately, it leads to stagnation. The wealthy play a totally different game. They operate from an abundance mindset. They see money not as something to be hoarded, but as energy to be circulated. They see the world as full of opportunities to create value, not as a zero-sum game. This isn't about being reckless. It's about seeing money as a tool. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" they ask, "How can I afford this?" This one shift changes everything. While the average person is clipping coupons and worrying about small expenses, the wealthy person is focused on a much bigger question. How can I circulate my capital to create more value and, therefore, more wealth? They prioritize investing in a diversified portfolio of assets like stocks, real estate, and private equity. They understand that money sitting idle is losing its power. Their goal is to put every dollar to work, creating compound growth where their money starts making its own money. Success over learning, speed, and the strategic circulation of their resources. This is the core difference. One mindset plays defense, while the other plays offense. Here's a hard truth. For most people, it's incredibly difficult to get seriously rich by just earning a salary. Most people are stuck trading 1 hour of their time for 1 hour of pay. Your income is directly tied to the hours you put in, and since your time is finite, your earning potential has a hard ceiling. This is the employee mindset, and it's the slowest path to wealth. Even high-paid professionals can find themselves on a treadmill if their expenses rise with their income, a trap known as lifestyle creep. The ultra-wealthy know this trap well. They don't just work for money, okay? They build systems and own assets that make money for them. Their focus isn't on their salary, it's on equity and ownership, okay? They shift from selling their time to owning things that generate value while they sleep, okay? An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket without you actively working for it, okay? A business that runs on systems, a rental property generating cash flow, a portfolio of dividend-paying stocks, or intellectual property earning royalties. Billionaires, in particular, break problems down to their fundamentals and focus on building scalable systems. Think of Jeff Bezos with Amazon or Bill Gates with Microsoft. They didn't just have a job. They built a system that could generate value at an unimaginable scale, independent of their direct time. This doesn't mean you have to be a tech founder. Many wealthy individuals use high incomes as seed capital to buy or build assets. The goal is to go from being the engine of your wealth to being the architect of a wealth-generating machine. The average person focuses on their income. The wealthy focus on their asset column. If you're finding this shift in perspective valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and tells the algorithm you're getting something out of this. And if you want to keep learning the principles that separate the wealthy from the rest, make sure you're subscribed. One of the biggest wealth destroyers is emotion. Fear and greed drive the markets, and they drive the decisions of the average investor. When the market plummets, the average person panics and sells at the bottom, locking in their losses. When a stock is soaring, they feel the FOMO fear of missing out and buy at the peak, just before a correction. They get arrogant when they win and quit when they lose, sabotaging their own long-term progress. The wealthy, by contrast, cultivate extreme emotional discipline. They treat money and investing like a science, not a soap opera. They replace fear, greed, and ego with data-driven decisions and strategic patience. This emotional detachment allows them to think with stunning clarity, especially when others are panicking. It's exactly what Warren Buffett meant when he said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." This is the mantra of a detached investor. This principle goes way beyond investing. It applies to business, career moves, and seeing opportunity where others see chaos. The wealthy learn to treat setbacks as tuition, not tragedy. They understand that failure is just data information to learn from and recalibrate. Billionaires are masters of this. They are known for making calculated risks, but only after soberly assessing the potential upside versus the downside. They decouple their net worth from their self-worth, which allows them to make rational decisions without their ego getting in the way, while the average person is on an emotional roller coaster with their finances. The wealthy are calmly executing a long-term plan. The final principle is all about time. Most people operate on a very short time horizon. They want results now, so they're focused on this month's bills, this year's bonus, or the next hot stock that promises a quick win. This short-term thinking makes them vulnerable to get-rich-quick schemes and impatient with powerful, long-term strategies like compound interest. The ultra-wealthy think in terms of decades and even generations. Jeff Bezos famously reinvested Amazon's profits back into the business for years, frustrating shareholders who wanted short-term dividends because he was playing a much longer game. Warren Buffett has held some stocks, like Coca-Cola, for over 30 years. This long-term horizon is their single greatest advantage. They understand that real wealth isn't built overnight. It's compounded over decades of consistent, disciplined action. This mindset shapes every financial decision they make. They prioritize long-term value over short-term trends. They don't just plan for their own retirement, They engage in legacy planning to ensure their wealth survives for generations, often using structures like family trusts and foundations. It's a profound shift from just making money to building an empire. Many people think about hitting a number and cashing out. The truly wealthy think about creating a system with such a strong competitive advantage that it can run practically forever. They aren't just building wealth, they're building dynasties. So, let's recap the 4 hidden principles. First, the wealthy operate from a mindset of abundance, circulating their capital to create value, while many others hoard it out of scarcity. Second, they focus on building scalable systems and owning assets, breaking free from the trap of trading time for money. Third, they master their emotions, making data-driven decisions, while others are swayed by fear and greed. And fourth, they think in decades and generations, letting the incredible power of long-term compounding do the heavy lifting. These aren't just abstract theories. They are actionable principles that govern how true wealth is built. The difference between the rich and everyone else isn't just luck or genius. It's the mental framework they use. It all starts with changing how you think. Replace "I can't" with "how can I?" Shift your focus from simply earning to owning. Learn to respond with data instead of reacting with emotion. And start making decisions today that your future self will thank you for in 20 years. Wealth isn't an event, it's a process, and that process begins in your mind. If this video shifted your perspective, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next one. And I'm curious to leave a comment below with the one principle you're going to start applying today. Let's see who's ready to start building.